Alright, hey guys, it's Dom, joined by Hunter. Let's get right down to it. We're here for last match of round one. Chris is on the bottom with a red-white aggro tokens, metalcraft, sort of, maybe battle cry is the right way to say it, sort of deck. And then Smith is on this red-green kind of mid-range haterade sort of thing.
Kill all of the artifacts.
Yeah.
He's got a super awkward hand, Smith does.
Yeah, 4 forests.
Oh, there's a creeping corrosion. Actually not amazing in this matchup. Chris doesn't have that many artifacts.
Right. I don't see how Scott or Yuki can basically ever win against Smith's deck.
Yeah.
There's so many artifacts. But, yeah, it could be bad. I don't know, if he plays against, you or me or somebody, or Luke even, who's, like, not playing a lot of artifacts, could be different or difficult, but he'd probably sideboard into something else.
I feel like even Luke and I have enough that it's going to hurt.
Yep. I still have golems and random stuff. I've got a Theros block soldier token here.
I've got a Ravnica block.
Nice.
Precinct captain.
Chris actually has no red right now, but he hasn't drawn any red cards. So as Chris has Ancient Den and Great Furnace in his deck, does that enable anything?
Does he have Metalcraft?
I imagine there must be some reason, like you wouldn't just play lands that die to removal.
Right. Pure Steel Paladin.
Okay. That's something. Smith can cast a Carrion Call here, which might take the soldiers along with it. That Kemba's going to be a problem, though. Also, Dark Seal Axe does not die to Creeping Corrosion. Does die to Molder Slug. That'd be a pretty good follow-up if he top decks a land and plays Molder Slug. I think he's in pretty good shape. It looks like he blocked Kemba with one of them, I think. I don't know why else would have a counter. My insect token is Insectile Aberration. I need to go work on some of these tokens. Alright, here's Rot Wolf. I remember this card being very good and limited. Like, infect creatures are bad to trade with in the first place, and then you also get to draw a card. Alright, so Chris is going to take a poison counter from this 1/1 insect. Chris gets a cat. Then draws Hero of Bladehold. That's pretty good here, right? Alright, so he's going to play Sword of War and Peace. Protection from red. Should be relevant at some point. Equips a two-way soldier. So he's going to attack just with the soldier. He's going to get blocked by Rotwolf. The soldier's going to get 2 -1/-1 counters. There we go. Had some trouble with poison there. Smith misses again on his land. This is getting close, I think, to an like insurmountable board advantage. This is going to cast Telgel, add Justice to Scry, and kill the sword. You should be able to find a land in the top 2 cards. Looks like we lost Hunter. So I am going solo on commentary while he works on his internet. And Chris draws Elspeth Tyrell, one of the, I would say probably the late game card in his deck, one of the curve toppers. And both of these decks really are playing red, we promise. Like, there actually are red cards in them. But Chris seems to be doing better without red than Michael right now. Insect blocks a cat. This soldier gets in for 1. And now Chris has to decide if he wants to add anything else to the board. He says yes. He's going to cast Elspeth Tyrell. Can go up or down. He's going to go down, make 3 soldiers. And Smith actually scribed 2 cards to the bottom and then drew another red card and decided he didn't want to play anymore. That was a pretty brutal draw. But Chris, it's a fairly uncontested game win here. I'll take a quick look at some deck lists. And whoops, that's in the last round. Alright, here's Chris's deck. You can see a lot of cheap creatures and some equipment and Koth and Elspeth. In the sideboard, I don't see a need for either creature really, but Burn the Impure could be good. He's got infect creatures to target. There's a few black cards. For a while he was white-black and then moved into red. Active Aggression could possibly be good. If he sees himself getting ahead, that's a way to finish the game. Apostle's Blessing, maybe play around removal. Can't put in too much of that stuff though. Yeah, a couple of options. He may board out cards like the Leon and Sun Standard or artifacts. Artifacts that don't immediately do anything that still die, like to the removal, might not be as good. So Looks like they're back for the game, so we'll look at Smith's list after before game 3 if we get to that point. Hunter had a computer issue and is rebooting, so hopefully get him back soon. Both players have mountains this time, so should be able to actually cast all their cards. And we're able to keep on 7. Smith is going to have Rotwolf into Fallen Ferromancer or Creeping Corrosion. Chris here is going to be able to cast Lena Dengard or an Auriok Steel Shaper. So he's going to play this, which makes sense. This guy makes your equipment cheaper, and then this guy gets better when he's equipped. So Smith draws Electrostatic Bolt. So he could take his turn to kill the Steel Shaper. But I think he's just going to cast the 2/2, yeah. I think that's probably better. We also see the Apostle's Blessing out of the sideboard. Chris had a Quarter Paladin last turn too, yeah. All the 2-drops. So you could play a 2-mana Volshock Morningstar, pay 1 to equip it. And this guy suddenly is a 4/4. That's not bad. Get in there. So it gets +2/+2 from the equipment, and then +1/+1. It pumps itself as one of the old style lords that makes itself more powerful also. Now I think we might see Rotwolf and Electrostatic Bolt. Oh, never mind the Bolt. Oh, it does 4 to artifact creatures. My bad. I thought it was equipped creatures. That's actually not as good. Oh, and the wolf was in play already too. Sorry, got a little confused there. Hashtag bad casting. Alright, here comes Rotwolf for 2 infect. Now a decision is to be made. Fallen Ferromancer. So this is an interesting mechanic, the Infect Pinger. So can ping creatures. Basically, you pay 2 tap, you put a -1/-1 counter on a creature, or you give someone a poison counter. Pretty powerful once it gets going. Chris is getting in for another 4. He's gonna drop Smith to 12. Now he can cast 2 2-drops. You could also play a 3-drop and leave up Apostle's Blessing. So a quarter Paladin and Leon and Dengard. Interesting that he played a quarter Paladin, as it is a target for the Ferromancer. It only has 1 toughness. We'll see if that ends up actually happening. Eternal Witness. Alright, so he's just gonna play Creeping Corrosion. Because this is a knight, and so the Steel Shaper is pumping everything, so that makes sense. And now he also has the option of Electrostatic Bolt. To kill either the quarter Paladin or the Steel Shaper. Chris does draw Koth of the Hammer, which I think keep applying pressure here. And here's a mountain. It's going to become a 4/4. We'll try to get Hunter back here. I don't know how to turn that noise off. If you know how, tell me in the comments. A mountain comes in for 4, but no other attacks. Alright, this is going to be end of turn, bolt, something. Has to be a creature. So it's either going to be the Paladin or the Steel Shaper. Hello? Looks like the call got dropped again, so we'll try to figure it out for the next round. So Rotwolf's attacking Koth. And Koth's gonna take 2. I think he's gonna cast Beacon of Creation here. Gonna make a 1/1 non-infect insect for each forest, so 3 1/1s. Because Michael just needs to survive here. For a moment we had an insect and then it got... Oh, there we go. Oh. The joys of cockatrice. I should probably turn my volume back up. Sorry about that. Play this card's taking a long time to resolve. There we go. 1 insect, 2, 3. Yay, we did it. His hand is pretty unexciting, and he draws another land. So there's no targets for land and relic orders, just a 2/2. And then Skyhunter Cub is no equipment, so he's just a gray ogre. And then Apostle's Blessing doesn't really have any great things to target. But yes, we'll just attack with Koth and force a Chumpa block. And yeah, there goes an insect. Koth is clearly the one good thing Chris has going for him right now. And a mountain. Alright, so obviously Michael can outcast Horde Smelter Dragon. He can also Eternal Witness back Electrostatic Bolt, kill one of the creature, or kill the Skyhunter Cub, and then activate Fallen Ferromancer to kill the Steel Shaper, which should reduce the board considerably. He is instead attacking with Rotwolf. Yeah, I think Chris is going to block and cast Apostle's Blessing here. It was in double block. And not cast Apostle's Blessing. Interesting. See, like a rare opportunity to actually just trade 1 for 1 with a Rotwell. And Michael casts Horde Smelter Dragon, which threatens to kill Koth next turn. It feels like that's the game here. Like if Koth goes down, Chris really has nothing going on. He's just gonna lose to the Horde Smelter Dragon eventually, or to poison counters. Although that's now less likely with the Rotwolf death. Although it could come back by Eternal Witness. Another Eternal Witness, another Therese Nelson favorite. She, of course, most famous for the original art of Force of Will, but just she's done the art of many good cards over history of Magic. Koth goes up, but doesn't attack, obviously. So it draws Troll Ascetic. Koth down. Now I will be pretty surprised if Chris could win from here. So Troll Ascetic is, we even got the new, the updated wording here. Yeah, it's a 3/2 hexproof that regenerates. Used to say could not be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, which became known as Troll Shroud before it officially became called hexproof after Troll Ascetic. Yeah, so Chris drew another land. Ferromancer is going to shoot down the Steel Shaper probably at end step. And I don't think this game's going to go on too much longer. Yeah, I think Chris needed to cast an Apostle's Blessing to give himself any chance. Like, I think there's a good chance he still wouldn't have gotten there with how many lands he's drawn in his aggressive deck. But I think he might have minimized his chances. He's probably going to lose with his card still in his hand. Another land. Here's a random poison counter. Because why not? Hey, Juke Beacon of Creation again. It gets shuffled back into the library. And that's why, I guess. So you can draw it and cast it again. This time he'll get 5 insects. Oh, it looks like he's going to attack first. He has no artifact to kill with the dragon. Horde Smelter, Windmill Slam first pick in Scars of Mirrodin draft. And we're done here. Alright, so we are tied at 2. Whoops. Alright, let's take a look at Michael's deck list, as promised. So you can see some infect creatures and some artifact removal. That's basically the deck. And a Lockstone Warhammer. But sideboard he has more removal, Galvanic Blast, Piston Strike. And he does have a Triumph of the Hordes. That's a way to win a game. I don't think it's really what he wants this matchup, because it's a little too fast. He probably just wants the Galvanic Blast and maybe the Spike Shot Goblin. I don't know if that does anything. Yeah, he just kind of wants cheap cards, but he actually doesn't have very many. I could see Into the Core possibly being good also. Yeah, probably wants to keep a low curve. And we're back for the last game. And Chris on the play. With a bunch of 2-drops. He's going to need to hit a third land. A solid hand for Michael. Turn 2 Death Hood Cobra, and then a Scrap Melter and a Beacon. It'll be hard to cast that Hero of Oxidridge. Alright, so he leads with a Quarter Paladin. It's going to be met by Death Hood Cobra. So it's a 2/2 from New Phyrexia, I believe. You can pay 2 to give it Reach or to give it Death Touch, and land number 3 does show up. It's going to offer the trade. I expect it's going to be taken. He could cast the Steel Shaper. He's going to cast the Pure Steel. Oh, that makes sense because he's going to draw a card off the Volshock Morningstar. Michael did not hit a 3-mana play, which might let Chris get a little bit ahead on board. He's going to need some action. He drew another equipment. That's could be a big game if he finds a third equipment. And you just go off with the Pure Steel Paladin. He has to expect artifact removal. I think I would actually lead with, yeah, the Volshock. He draws another sword. I'll take swords for 400, Alex. His Pure Steel attacks are 2. I suspect we're going to see this equipment get melted here. That does mean that he'll get to land a sword. Just burn the Impure, which you can't cast. So yeah, especially based on that, I think he's probably wants Sword of Fire and Ice, I would guess, because drawing cards is good. Alright, so here's that. The draw trigger. Missed the land again. It's pretty awkward. Michael draws another land. I wonder if he'll just beacon the Pure Steel Paladin. Yeah. Because otherwise that's the only way he avoids a sword hit. Oxido Scrap Melter is going to get him for 3. I believe Chris will be able to, even if he misses on land here, she did. He can cast the Steel Shaper and equip the sword. Just to make his guy a 4/4 with protection from red. Which is pretty strong on the board right now. Galvanic Blast. It's that would be really good, but if he had it in his hand last turn. Still stuck on 3 mana. And this attack presumably is not going to get through thanks to Carrion Call. So he casts Kemba and he's not attacking. So he's got a read, expecting. Maybe he expects the shatter effect that's not actually there. But he was right that Michael had something. Here comes some fake delvers here. Infect insects. Michael really needs gas. And he draws a forest. These are the sorts of games that usually end up eventually going to the person who does not have enough lands. Like if the person who's ahead on lands can't finish the game, the person who's behind will eventually draw lands and end up winning. There's Plains number 4. He could cast Sword of War and Peace, but... Oh, and equip it, yeah. It seems acceptable. He could also play Suture Priest and then hold up Raise the Alarm. And end step that. It's a more conservative line. But we built the deck to play swords. That was interesting, he equips the other one on the Steel Shaper as well. She's just going in this time. Jump block. I was surprised he didn't equip Kemba, because then you get a 2-2. And he could have attacked with both if he wanted. But Michael's just drawing lands for days. So no cat token. Goblin War Driver. All the double red spells here. Koth, hero. Right, so an attack and a chump block by the other insect. And now Michael really has to find something. I guess this is going to be Suture Priest. Oh no, it's going to be move the equipment to where I thought it was going to be at the beginning. Alright, well, that's not a bad draw. That's going to make five blockers. It should buy some time. Can I call this deck like red-green beacons? I feel like red-green midrange is a boring name. Strangely enough, I am in control of the stream. So there we go. That just happened. It's obviously the main reason for playing the deck. Got two very strong beacons. Alright, end step, raise the alarm. But he had the cat ready for his upkeep. What she's gonna get. There's a soldier. Chris, I think the only person in the league who plays with this creature is in the middle row. Can Chris draw another double red spell? Nope. But he can draw another planes. Hunter's still in the chat despite his video problems, noting the flavor win here with the Steel Shaper being alive only because of its sword. I keep touching the planes with my mouse. There we go. Alright, here's a Suture Priest. One of the few Phyrexian cards here. What? Alright, we're gonna try this again. Hello there? So not happening today. Nope. Cannot has. And cat and a soldier getting in on the blocks here. Alright, so Eternal Witness. Oh, getting back the Scrap Melter. Now we got something. So now he can blow up the Sword of Fire and Ice, which kills the Steel Shaper. I know, but he killed the Sword of War and Peace, because Kemba is scarier, I guess. He at least forces Chris to pay the 2 mana now if he wants things the other way. Plains. Plains not a good draw. Excuse me. We just got what I would call the first day of spring in South Carolina, and there is pollen everywhere, and everyone has a stuffy nose, and it's just crazy. Just like walk around town and everybody is congested. And every person you talk to is, yeah, the allergies. South Carolina just has ridiculous seasons in the first place. Like, it's just like pretty extreme. In summer, it's just like 105 for 2 weeks. This spring, you just get dumped with a bunch of pollen. Like, I guess winter is not that bad compared to other places. It's bad compared to Florida, which is all I have to compare it to. Alright, so Chris does move the sword to Kemba, which makes the Steel Shaper bite the dust. And Smith draws a Volt Charge. Doesn't seem particularly good here. Here's a cat. Plains. Oh my goodness. Worst possible draw. Mountain is a good draw. Red spell's still a better draw than Plains. And there's a Molder Slug. Smith may actually pull this game out. So it's actually in, so Kemba, it's time for some judge stuff here. So I believe, so triggers go on the stack in active player, non-active player order. So Kemba goes on the stack, then Molder Slug goes on the stack. So Molder Slug resolves first. Chris has to sack the equipment, and then Kemba's no longer equipped and doesn't get a cat. He did draw a mountain. Oh, that Contagion engine is going to be insane. He can cast it and proliferate immediately. So you can kill the cat and both soldiers. And now these red cards aren't going to be good anymore. Like the War Driver and the Hero and stuff. Those cards were going to end the game when they got cast with all those tokens at play. Now instead he casts Volt Charge and proliferates. And that's it. Chris is done. Wow, that was a pretty surprising comeback, I would say. It looked very bad for Michael for a while. But found a way. It's a pretty interesting match. See if we can get in on this video film.
We had very interesting games.
So much land.
And he didn't have his red in the third game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had so many double red cards. I should probably add more mountains to my deck and just go to like a 9-8.
I just had land forever.
I thought Chris was pretty likely to win just because like he had actual spells in hand. But I was like, well, eventually he's gonna just cast his cards and win. But like he never cast them. It was you were able to draw some of your good stuff to get out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I think my sideboarding could have probably also been a little bit better. Probably should have brought in Slagstorm because it actually deals with a lot of creatures.
Yeah, drawing both the Prowler and Swords was kind of irritating.
But like all those draws up here, still Paladin is just like not drawing lands.
Yeah, you got 2 draws off of that. No, 3 draws. 3 draws.
Yeah.
But yeah, the beacons were pretty good.
Yeah, beacon creation, pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I got bored during game 3, so I changed your deck name to Red Green Beacons.
All right.
Not sure if we're gonna keep that. It was just something I decided to do because I was that was those couple turns where you guys were drawing cards and not doing anything. So
yeah.
But I definitely had a question or two, but of course I didn't write them down, and now I can't remember.
The block on the scrap melter.
That was that was something that yeah, like that's pretty bad if it dies, it's really good for you because you have Eternal Witness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should have just assumed Eternal Witness if he was making that attack.
I thought you were just gonna take 3 because like
there's no reason not to.
Because you had you had all these tokens in play, and then like your plan was to cast Battle Cry cards, so I didn't think you were just gonna randomly trade 2 of your tokens off.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell sometimes what to play around and all that sort of stuff.
I was pretty sure I wasn't going to win that match unless I did that.
Yeah.
And got it. Lucky.
Yeah, I probably should have gone all in on Kemba and just not bother keeping the Field Shipper alive.
He was useful as an anthem. Like it makes sure my insects don't trade your soldiers.
Yeah, and I mean, my deck does have like a Knight Soldier theme going. At that point, most of the Knights wouldn't actually for the Elsa soldiers. Yeah, they wouldn't trade. That's the only thing that ever made soldier tokens. Every other soldier with 1 toughness was already dead.
By the way, Hunter's having like all sorts of video problems. Like we tried to reconnect like 3 times during the match, and it's just like not working. I mean, he got back in to watch the game, but like just the video stuff wasn't working.
I'm actually gonna call it a night.
Okay. I'll remember what I was gonna ask. It was something about game 2. That's all I remember. I had a question about game 2, but I don't even remember what happened in game 2 anymore. It's been a long day. But anyway,
Probably some of my sequencing was off.
yeah, I think there was something about like one turn you could have cast something and then like I was sort of think you could have like played Electrostatic Bolt and then witnessed it back and then cast it again, like to get rid of a problem card. I forget exactly. It was something like that.
Those stat values of you
Electrostatic Bolt doesn't deal with
Planeswalkers.
cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, good night, guys.
See you later.
See.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go too.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for chatting. We'll be back with round 2 next weekend.
Yeah.